Off and on the clock is back doing what we do best, drafting teams on the Dog app. We also have some news to cover, obviously some ramifications to the ADP landscape, but then we want to dive back into the Eliminator streets. I had the video last week on the Deposit Kingdom. Want to get John and Nez's thoughts on that, and then we can try to execute a draft ourselves. And then who knows, maybe we'll be able to sneak in a Dalmation, which is quickly filling on Underdog. I'm Pete with John and Nez. Let's do it. All right, fellas, are you excited for Best Ball Week? The 1 week out of the year that we get to draft best ball teams without fear, without retribution. It feels good to know that we're in the good graces of the best ball gods this week.
It's the only week. It's the only week that you can do this. Great. Let's get the normies in here. Seeing a lot of tweets like I drafted like 40 best ball teams so far this summer. Like can't tell the wife, like, buddy, I'm on the clock at 40 slow drafts today.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, the sickest thing I think I've ever seen on Underdog was the $1 tournament. I kid you not, I never even saw it in the lobby. Like that was part, like I was busy or whatever, but it filled that fast. I never even got to see what it looked like in there. I never got to click the fill rate. A $1 tournament, it came and went. The people have spoken. They want to draft best ball teams.
And I think like the volume on the platform now is large enough to support it, right? Because like the fear back in the day with the $1 stuff was like, oh, this will be a hindrance to fill rates in Puppy 2. Well, Puppy 2 is still screaming along as well. So I think, yeah, it's just we've reached this point of peak mayhem in the summer where we're all sick enough to just keep cycling out these contests.
Well, do you think too, because I don't remember the exact day that the flip was switched on 32nd to 22nd exclusively, but that's really helped with liquidity across all contests.
I mean, that was always the fear when we talked about it, the three of us, like the difference in separating the lobbies between 20 and 30 was always going to be, well, some people are going to live here, some people are going to live there. So standardizing it all, whether it was 30, whether it was 20, I'm a big fan of the 20 because look at how the fill rates have been and look at how fast everything is ripping off now. Like you can get 3 drafts in a show in our time slot nowadays. Like, so it's wild.
Yeah. It like even on Best Ball Breakfast yesterday, Bill Bardwell was making a joke about, marathons or sprints taking a while to fill. And this obviously, these kind of moves certainly help with that. And I think like, people are going to always complain about everything, but it is a balancing act, right? To have all these different style contests in the lobby, to literally have something for everyone. You want to do an alt contest. You want to do a cheap entry. You want to do a 3 max $101 entry. And then to have those fill in a way that's a good user experience where you're not sitting around all day waiting. That's a very tough thing to pull off because if you get rid of any one thing, you'll hear a lot of people like bag on the sprint or the marathon. It's like you take that away and there's going to be a course of people who are like, that was my contest. Like I loved, playing that contest. So I just want to say it is not easy getting all of those dynamics for the user experience to work in harmony. And I think, they continue to calibrate and I think it's working well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just to like, again, touch on the fact that $1 contest filled so fast, like, I don't know. I really think that they should do a couple more of those. Just because one, it came and went so fast. So maybe like that would have been perfect for somebody that wasn't able to get in there, like, cause they had like a busy Saturday, cause it basically lasted a day. I think it'd be nice to allow, give people another chance to do that and get in there. And like John said, it didn't seem like it was a hindrance at all to existing fill rates. So I'm a big fan of it, man. I know, they're a very loud minority, the people that want those type of contests and, but like at the same time, I think it's good for the ecosystem for people to be able to draft. Cause I say it all the time, but I always go back to like when I first started playing an Underdog, like that would have been me. That would have been like my absolute jam. Just like, cause I was, just doing puppies at a time. So, I mean, there's a large subset that caters to.
Yeah,
did you, I heard Jacob on ADP Chasing today said he autoed his dollar. He uploaded his ranks and just ripped 101 autos. Nez, did you get in the auto streets for that too?
Yeah, I maxed it with my autos.
How did it go better? Because what did you do it with? Did
Yeah.
you do it for the Schnauzer, or you had done it for another one, right?
Yeah, I did. I did it for I forget which contest it was exactly, but for this one I changed it up, and you're gonna love this, Pete. I said, like, what can I control in these drafts? Well, I was like, well, I want like good quarterbacks. So okay, I'll do a positional limit of 2 at quarterback. I want to make sure that I don't get burnt at wide receiver, so I'll set good wide receivers. So I ended up settling on a positional limit of every single draft of 2, 6, 6, 4. And punting tight end and just going for tight end 101 times.
Whoa, let's go. You have 101 4 tight end teams?
Yeah, but they're all like punt tight end. They're kind of nice. Like they're good.
4 tight end curious. You are a 4 tight end master. I mean, this is crazy.
Let's put it to the test, man. Let's run the Sims. 101 4 tight end punt teams. Let's see how it goes. I mean, dude, they're good teams. They look good.
This guy, we couldn't even get him to flirt with it last week. Couldn't even get him to flirt with 4 tight end, and now he's married to her.
What is I guess my question is, how did you guarantee 4 tight ends? Because that's a maximum, right? Like, weren't there teams where it still worked out where you didn't get the 4? Or because you said all the others tapped?
I did an 18 position
gotcha
cap. So like no matter what, it was 2, 6, 6, 4. So like I made sure that I had like prioritized wide receiver draft capital, so that way I was cool with 6 wide receivers. I prioritized specific running back targets, so that way like I knew I was getting either really good handcuffs or guys that could like provide a floor. And then it was just like 4 tight ends, let it rip at the end. Like every draft I pretty much finished with 4 tight ends. And not gonna lie, man, I really liked it.
Okay. Because the other thing I was thinking about with that experiment too, and I know we've thought about this for daily stuff, is like, what if you just pushed up all the mobile quarterbacks, where you push up Nix, you push up Kyler, A-Rich, Fields, obviously, in the early guys, and just say, I'll remove any stacking dynamics and be overweight all the quarterbacks you don't need to stack.
Exactly. Like I that's how I treated this, and that's how I'm treating the mini Schnauzer too. I might be finished now. I auto drafted 20 mini Schnauzers too, with that same principle of like, let me push up the elites and not really care if I stack them or not, and also try to get elite tight end too, and going full 0 RB. So I did 22 8-6-2s for that.
Where is the outrage for Nez auto drafting these wild 4 tight end teams? You know, when Gil does it, it's such an issue, but we just don't like Nez, so he's allowed to do it.
You see the shirt, Pete? You see,
you're rocking your Gil shirt.
This is a Hawaiian shirt of armor. You can't. I'm impenetrable.
Oh my goodness,
Nez, everyone in the chat is clamoring to see your exposures for that. That might be a really fun exercise for the start of the Solver Series video this week, to look at that contest specifically.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to show that. Pete, once again, Pete would love it. Spoiler alert: a lot of Dalton Schultz in these teams.
Oh God! Let the record know, I am only Dalton Schultz curious on CJ Stroud teams. I don't want him elsewhere.
Let's quickly touch Cade Stover, bro.
Jesus. Let's talk about a little bit of the new stuff. Certainly stuff hanging in the balance with Judkins, with Najee Harris, the Jauan Jennings stuff. Seeing some pretty big falls in overreactions. I don't want to say overreactions, because that like implies that it's bad or not, but reactions to this stuff in drafts. Do you guys have any thoughts of how you've been handling any of those specifically?
I'd like to talk about the 4th and Jauan right now for a second, because we kind of saw this play out last year with Ayuk in the same vein, where Ayuk, wanted a contract at the beginning, even though he already had an existing contract at camp. And, we thought it was going to be a big deal, and then they caved and they gave him big money and that sort of thing. So I don't think this is as bad as everyone's letting on, because it does just feel like he wants like a restructured, more incentive late in one based on his performance of last year, even though he is currently under contract. But I think like that, coupled with Silva coming out and doing his like favorite players to target and his new adjusted rankings, that have Ricky Pearsall already over Jauan Jennings or right next to. This was like the perfect storm in our little bubble that those two are going to find their way to together or flipping in the near future anyways.
Yeah, I'm honestly really spooked about the Pearsall stuff, especially now that he's going to rise. And I was looking at his utilization report and again, having my memory jogged about how things went last year. And we really had just like those 2 games at the very end where he got the full kind of route share and snap share. And we saw that breakout. But then you also layer in, Debo was hurt and just a complete shell of himself at that point of the year. Like they were clearly seeing what they have in the guy. And I know you can do it both ways. You can say, well, the dude was shot and he started the season slow. Like I don't want to discount that, but like I think we have to acknowledge the sample size and the variables last year make it a very tough projection. Like I don't think it's as easy and as clean as like you're the next man up and you're a year 2 rookie. Like I have a lot of pause with vaulting Ricky Pearsall up into that range, partly because I view his impact more like on like a Jameson Williams type impact, as opposed to him like becoming a 25% target share guy. Like nothing in his profile really indicates that's who he is. So I can certainly squint and see the breakout stuff, but man, if we start chasing him up into like the back end of the 5th round or something where Jauan was going, I get pretty squeamish.
Yeah, we kind of painted the case for a Ricky rise last time that we did a show together. And I mean, it makes perfect sense. There's a very clean path to him rising, and the people that he has to jump like don't provide a ton of resistance. So, like John said, it's kind of like already happening. This Jennings news is just like accelerating that rise that we thought would take a slower amount of time. I agree with Jump Free in the chat. I don't think this is anything. I think what Jennings is doing is like, hey, I would like more money. Like the agent looked at some projections, checked out Mike Clay, and said, "Oh, Jennings is going to be used like he's a $15 million, $20 million player." So the trade request is like, hey, teams, like if you want to pay Jauan Jennings, trade for him and pay him, but you're gonna have to make a hell of a trade. He's not holding out, right? Like there's just no way that he would hold out. It doesn't make any sense. He has no leverage.
Yeah.
And he even said, like, I'm already gonna show up to camp. Like this is just the one kind of lever he can pull to show his dissatisfaction.
Sure.
And it's like he just doesn't even have the leverage of someone like Brandon Ayuk, right? Like at his age and his career, he is most valuable to the Niners, I think, of any team. And again, like Keenan Allen's still out there. Like I really think any team could call up Keenan Allen and get like 80% of Jauan Jennings. I know Nez's bags will like that as well. So so to me, it's like pretty clear. You buy the Jauan Jennings dip and you fade the Pearsall rise up until the news settles, and then things get back into their spot. But that's just
me. The one thing I would just want to harp on there when Nez said the resistance that is kind of like between him and Jauan Jennings, like Addison, he's currently, the jury's out on whatever's going to happen there. Like he's right in the middle of the case. Chris Olave, people are scared of the quarterback stuff and the concussion history. Chris Godwin, we could be dealing with like, what if he's not ready for middle of camp, because camps are starting today, veterans more so next week than rookies. But like, what if he's a little lagged in that timeline? He's going to be a natural faller. What if Debo shows up fat? And now, Jacoby Myers is just kind of mad, and everybody's, the way we talk about him, even if we don't actually feel that way, just the way that he's talked about in the best ball community. So the resistance is a really good point there, because that's only about 5 picks, and that's all that big clump.
Yep. Yeah, and we're going to see a ton of movement in that range, right? We're going to have the Jordan Addison stuff that I think we're going to get here shortly. Sounds like he could get a 3-game suspension. He's going to move back. Like you could just see like Addison and Pearsall just like switch spots from where Addison was at the beginning of the year and where Pearsall opened. So that 6th round is just it's your flavor of preference too. You like the old guys. You want your Olave. You want your targets with Judy. You want your mystery box with Debo or some of the rookies. So. Yeah, that'll be a fun range to watch. Going in a similar part of that range was Judkins, back end there. He's obviously falling now. This is one that I don't think is an overreaction. I think there was a lot of ambiguity there to begin with. The question is like, how much is too much of a reaction and how much is warranted. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a couple things here. It's like, do you want the team's running back that is projected for the least amount of points in all of football, right? So there's that angle. Now we're just kind of like lumping another player into that place. The other interesting angle is he still hasn't signed his contract, so I don't know how that plays into like potential suspension and legality stuff, because he's one of those second round holdout guys who still hasn't inked anything. So technically he's like, I mean, he's under contract, but he hasn't signed on the dotted line. So if things went like really wrong for them, I don't know, would the Browns just like completely forfeit that second round pick and he's just like not even in the league? I mean, I don't know anything about the case specifics of this, but yeah, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Nez, why don't you give your thoughts on like where you think Samson would go and that sort of deal?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I'm like, do not draft Judkins right now. I haven't seen him fall to a range where like I would even consider it at this point. Like, I'm absolutely waiting for the news and not taking that risk. Cause like I said, he's just like not falling to a position where I feel like it's worth it right now. Samson right now though, I am like, I'm making my move on Dylan Sampson, like right now. And for me, that's around, Jaden Blue, that range of running backs, like where you start to see like the good handcuffs or like the what is this role for this guy, right around that range for Samson, and I'm doing it like aggressively. So I don't think that that's an overreaction. We as the Royal, we liked Samson coming into the draft. There was already like question marks of what he could have a pretty decent standalone role as is. So I think that all signs point to like, hey, go get Samson. Because if worse comes to worse, he's moving to, what did we say, like the New York Giants running backs probably, if the worst case scenario happens for Judkins here.
Yeah. Not worse comes to worse for Samson. Worse comes to worse for Judkins. Then I think that would be a good spot for him there. I don't know.
Well, I was just gonna say too, like the way I think about it is, obviously the draft capital, the second round, and again, this is setting aside the incident that happened, is like Judkins is going to get the first crack. Like the team wants him to succeed, based on where they did it. But Samson, as a fourth round pick, and the talent eval pre-draft not being maybe as wide as that draft capital gap would indicate, would seem to me there could be more of an open competition. And if he's gone at the beginning of the year and then Samson is just there, then all of a sudden that like dynamic just completely resets, because the deference isn't even there to be had. It's just like, well, Samson's the other guy in this backfield. And now like Judkins has to win it purely on merit, in a way like Samson has to flop and they have to be like, all right, Judkins, you're back. Let's do it. So like there's legit new ambiguity introduced here that really plays in favor of Samson. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I still think there are prices on Judkins that are interesting, at when I've seen some screenshots after pick 100. But yeah, this is a guy we were already comparing to what, now I'm blanking on the Steelers rookie running back. Why am I blanking? Caleb Johnson. Thank you. Like we were looking at those rushing and receiving lines, and it was like, holy cow. And again, we know those aren't the end all be all, but this is a guy, like John said, on a bad team. You just stack risk on risk on risk with this guy now. And I think Samson is the way to play it.
Yeah. Do you guys have any love for Ford in the last round there? And I kind of want to throw some names out here for you guys with like, we're about to be drafting like Samson versus Tank Bigsby right now. Like, is that close for you guys? Is that a Samson slam? Is that what do you guys think?
I'm more of like a Bigsby guy at the moment, so I would probably go Bigsby there. But that's a really good, 1v1. It's probably like 55-45 for me.
I think that range that we're talking about, Nez mentioned Blue, you mentioned Bigsby. I think you could, like, I'm still going to probably take an Algier or Eckler over him, but like, that's the range that I think you're still getting like decent value without just kind of evaporating whatever value is to be had by chasing him up the board.
Yeah. And then what about the Ford conversation? Because yesterday's $101 draft on stream, Ford lasted to the 18th round. Some of my BBM stuff yesterday, I did 2, I believe. And he was going like 16, 17 round. He was a guy who was drafted in every single big board and was like, sometimes 16, 15th round in big board season. Where should he be right now?
Probably around
To
16.
me,
It really depends on what you're drafting. Good.
Okay.
I was just going to say that, like, to me, he's like in the Justice Hill conversation now of like, I have a really heavy 0 RB room with a lot of rookies. And like, I want a guy to be able to give me a floor of 6 to 8 points and keep this, incredible wide receiver and tight end room afloat until these rookies start hitting. So like, yes, has his value increased, but what he does for your team, the whole thesis of the Jerome Ford stuff was early season anyways, right? It's like, hey, maybe Judkins, these guys aren't ready. The thought is by the end of the season, like Jerome Ford, it's very unlikely he's a factor unless Cleveland is crushing. They have a winning, record. And it's just like, because even if they're losing, it's like, let's see what we have in the 2 rookies. So to me, like the bet has gotten slightly better on Jerome Ford, but it's not a huge seismic shift for me.
Sounds like an eliminator ass pick to me, boys.
A very good eliminator pick there, for sure. Because and he's now back-to-back in ADP with Justice Hill. So that checks out for me. 195.1 for Hill, 195.6 for Ford. That seems about right. What about anything now, Nez? Let's get our resident Steelers expert on the Najee stuff. I know there was a Rappaport thing again this morning, kind of emphasizing the party line from the agent that they expect him to miss some training camp, but be ready for the season. It still feels like kind of weird that we don't have more details.
I know it does, but this is like a really dead part. This is like a dead part of just like the offseason in general. Like, we don't have a lot of coach speak period. So there's just like not a lot to say right now, but I think we should in the next like week or two get more details. I would hope. Everything that I've seen about this from like various Twitter doctors and whatnot has made it seem like this is really no big deal. And that like, if this was so what I'm hearing is like corneal abrasion is what like is what the assumption is on this. Like, we don't know for sure, but that's the assumption, and that it's not over the pupil, which would be a big problem. That would affect the eyesight. That would render him blind. And the fact that he's going to play and there's no mention of that right now, it's really just like he's in a lot of pain, and it's just, a lot of like numbing and whatnot there is what we're hearing via doctors who are just piecing what they can together. I think Najee's done falling, but man, he still is falling a little bit. I even slowed up on him because I was like, I wanted to see like where he would settle. I'm hoping he doesn't rise. I'm hoping that this new spot is where he is, and I think that will be the case because like John and I had mentioned a couple shows ago, just like the Najee faders didn't need a reason to fade Najee, and now that they get a firework incident, so now they have an even greater reason to do so. Yeah, to me, he's a good pick where he's settling, and I don't think he's going to fall much further than this.
Yeah, I'm a little.
Don't you think it's weird that our Twitter doctors have to even guess what it is? Like with most injuries, they come out and they're like grade 2 ankle sprain or whatever, like this. Like the fact that we're having to guess the severity to me seems like they're trying to get second opinions. They're trying to find out more information about what's actually going on.
Yeah, I think we'll get a little more clarity tomorrow. Veterans report tomorrow for the Chargers. So someone's going to be at the podium tomorrow, whether it be Harborough or OC or whatever. So I think it's going to be one of the first questions asked when the veterans report tomorrow. So hopefully we get a little bit more clarity there. But I don't know, man. Like ETR was pretty aggressive in moving up Amari Hampton. He's moved up to the right-hand side of the board. He was so frequently paired with the Chase and Justin Jefferson drafters on the left-hand side of the board with those 0 RB starts. And now he's found his way to that right-hand side of the board where people are taking him at, RB 15 or 13, I guess now. So he's like kind of closer to that Kyron and Brees territory, which I won't fight you on that, man. Like Roman's got a great track record of making talented running backs or even untalented running backs extremely useful. Like Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, etc. If Amari Hampton is what the coach speak indicated prior to this, where they were 2 peas in a pod and he looks ready to go just as much as Najee, like, man, I don't know. Throw Najee to the Wolves. Let's go Amari Hampton, 22 touches a week season in my books.
It also kind of goes back. It's like the same thing with the Ford stuff, right? It like depends on your team needs. I have teams where I'm eyeing the Ramondre Travis Etienne, Najee Harris types on those teams. I do think, though, the thing that's the whole point of Najee too is like that fast start of like, they're going to be the one who trusts, they're going to ease Omari and Hampton in. They're not going to give him 20 touches right out of the gate. You can see that at the end of the season. So if the early season thesis is complicated for Najee, it's a little different of like, oh, there's a looming suspension risk. And it's like, what if he gets suspended in like week 7 or 8? It's like, well, at least I get the fast start from Najee. So if he's slow and it opens the door for Omari and Hampton to build more trust with the coaches than he maybe otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. Like, I certainly see the Omari and Hampton bet being stronger. And I think 2 things can be true. Like, Najee can get cheaper and still be a solid bet if this isn't the market overreacting. And Omari and Hampton can get slightly more expensive in a way that he was probably slightly undervalued in the first place and can be closer to value. So I don't think it has to be like so binary that one becomes good and one becomes bad if the prices are both moving.
Get ready to learn Kamani Vidal, boys.
Yeah, right. All right. Should we hop in our first draft so we can maybe squeeze in a couple drafts today?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's hop in the Eliminator here. I'll get it up on screen. We need 10 more, so this can be friends and family if you guys want to join us. But yeah, I want to kick it to you guys first as this fills. I think you guys both got a chance to watch the video. Kind of curious how you were approaching the contest, if it's stuff that checked out for you, or just kind of like your overall thoughts on how you're thinking about that contest.
Yeah, it was nice to see the math and the S words back up a couple things that we had talked about, like the late bye week stuff. Nez was extremely bullish on there. The value of, winning week 1 because it's kind of like the only controllable one for us, and then the tight end stuff, like the onesies playing well as threesies. Not to give away the whole video, but those were kind of confirming some natural priors that we had conversations about.
Yeah, the bye week thing for me was definitely like, I was a little annoyed, but it makes sense, right? That was it makes intuitive sense to have those players in your lineup, throughout the course of the Eliminator season. I think one thing that, Pete, you did an After Dark was shady, and and obviously, like, you guys were not like data scientists. You didn't claim to be doing the most like data work, but I think it would have been a cool exercise, like he said, to shuffle the week 14 buys to see how well that would have played with other teams if different teams had week 14 buys, because like the Commanders were such a smash that really contributed to the EV of those teams when you ran those sims. But some are saying that the 25 Patriots are the 24 Commanders. So some are saying. I'm not.
That's right.
I'm not. But
the sidekick could say.
That was what was crazy to me, is that like the Titans are like really the only team that I would have also in a dream scenario put in the week 14 bye. Here, let's figure this out here. So ADP, Henry, Genty, Achan. I'm definitely down to grab a running back here. If you guys have a favorite there.
Let's go Henry then. As loves Henry.
I like Henry. Week 7 bye. Let's go ahead and grab him. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, that it does just work out well that like the Patriots and Panthers are 2 of the most intriguing like breakout offenses. Niners are like underpriced to what we've historically paid for them. And then the Giants, like if we get to see, Dart early or whatever, no one needs to be sold on Neighbors. They have some young pieces. Like all of those offenses have breakout potential in a way that's kind of fun, that those are the late bye week teams.
Yeah, it would suck if it was like the Browns and the Steelers at week 14. I'd be like, God damn it.
I'm good with Amon-Ra or BTJ here. You guys got
I prefer Amon-Ra, I think, in this format.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm fine with Amon-Ra. Yeah, the one thing that I do try to do is like be cautious of the week 8 buys, because it is like the fattest bye week and it's filled with really good teams. So that's I try to be mindful of that.
It is funny, obviously these ADPs are different from BBM, but it's like this is a pretty common start just in the other direction, right? Like you take Amon-Ra at the back end and then you grab Derrick Henry early second round. You just do it in a different order in the Eliminator.
just to put some names to that for Nez, the week 8 buys: Arizona, Detroit, Jacksonville, Rams, Vegas, and Seattle. So you got to be thinking ahead there on the right-hand side of the board, that when you do anything that is Raiders, that, Kyron doesn't usually make it back in eliminator format, but like, Devontae Adams and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and then what also sucks is on the left side of the board with Jamar Chase, that's where all the week 10 buys are. That's where the Chiefs go, that's where the Cowboys go. Like, it's so silly how these bye weeks line up like so perfect on either side of the board that it makes for like kind of difficult like drafting. You don't want to like bake it in too much, but you definitely need to bake it in a lot,
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely makes you question those decisions early. And I think I mentioned this too with Shady, because I had started drafting a couple with the leg up sims just to kind of see how much they were differing. And I do think there can be an overcorrection to like how rookies and stuff are priced in just that. And I think he said it too, I've talked about this with Christopher Davis. Like, it is the reason that mythology team looks so good in the Sims is because it was the nutted team. And it's like you still are wanting to draft like the total points nuts so that you can just be the -600 favorite in all of your head-to-heads there. And so we know rookies are still one of our best chances to just smash an ADP windfall. You're just trying to balance the, like, can you hold on until their upside really kicks in? But I wouldn't blindly be ignoring rookies. I think I do really want to be grabbing them at discounts when I can. So now we have all those week 8 buys here. Marvin Harrison, JSN. We could get like a Terry McLaurin in here, a James Cook for a second running back. You guys got anything?
Terry. Okay, Terry or Adams.
Let's see if I get it in. I didn't get it in time. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's all right. I only said that because of the bye weeks. So we just got to be cognizant.
Oh yeah. So shit. I was trying to get a non-week 8 buy and then stumbled into the week 7 buy here.
Dude, it's so insane how these bye weeks overlap. It's seriously like it sucks.
There you go. We're getting the streamer Evie of not getting our picks in here, but we can get one of these wide receivers coming back now. Either Terry or Adams. McLaurin goes. I'm good with Adams at this price for sure.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's double.
Wait, it's the high. Do we want to do double 8, like, double 7, or do you want to go?
Yeah, I think it's okay to start, right? Like,
yeah.
It's okay, and then we just have to really dance around it. But like for the first 4 picks, I think it's okay to like go best player available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wood's good.
And it's, again, those are the things too of like, you're getting a pretty nice discount, I guess, on at least the Adams price. I guess on all these wide receivers are discounted there relative to it. But I do think that's the you just got to overcorrect more later.
Effectively,
we just flip Cook and Adams ADPs
again. Yes.
Yeah. Can I say what up to Kevin Brown in the chat real quick? He left a comment there.
Yeah.
I was in 2020 or 2019 and 2020. I was in a boot camp with Kevin. He's in here. I haven't talked to Kevin forever, man. What's up, dude? I hope your family is doing well.
Did you hear that I bumped into him in New York?
No.
That's why he was saying this. So I go to New York last week, just did a quick overnight trip, and Leone and I walk into Grim Brewery, and this guy's like staring me down, and then finally walks over and introduces himself, and it's Kevin. I obviously hadn't met him previously, and then he mentioned this, and that he's an underdog bro and all of this. So it was a funny interaction.
Oh, dude, that's so awesome. What up, Kevin? That's a crazy crossing of paths. Yeah, we didn't. I don't think it was we did mess around with RB Dead Zone, but we ended up doing like a prediction machine learning final project where we took like EPA, air yards, and like did like a moving average and try to like predict who would win or lose in a game without like, while hiding the results of the game that actually took place. I didn't do any of the legwork. I just came up with the idea and made some of the smarter guys do that stuff. But that's cool. I haven't seen that name in a minute.
There you go. All right, so we start with our double 7 running back by Henry and Cook, double 8 wide receiver buys with Amon-Ra and Adams. We are going to be on the clock at 5:10 here in a second. No interest in Joe Burrow. No interest in the tight ends. So we're looking at running backs and wide receivers. Luckily, no week 7 or week 8 buys here, other than Travis Hunter, who we can avoid. So yeah, Mixon, Ridley, Waddle. I think all makes sense there. Ridley or Waddle, you guys, you think with one of these two?
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. I mean, I would consider Swift, but I think those are stronger wide receivers. I'm just like very running back pilled in the Eliminator. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I like Swift, but I think we might be able to push it around the corner because 5 running backs already gone on the corner. So I think if you take Waddle here, I mean, I like Waddle more than Ridley, but you guys can.
Yeah, I don't have a preference.
Let's go. If it's close, you can always break the tie in favor of the later bye week there. Both Tua and Cam Ward are cheap, so that's not really a big tiebreaker. Yeah, I've been running back pilled as well, but sometimes like I do find like Mixon is going essentially at his same price as he is in BBM, whereas now Swift is going like way higher. So I like am kind of conscious of those spreads and like the ones that make sense to me versus the ones where it feels like you're just overpaying. That said, like I have no problem going in that direction here.
Yeah, I
also would be cool with Trevion as well. I'd be cool with the week 14. Do you have a preference?
I think I like Swift just because I think that like I'm worried about the Trevion start, as far as how much work he's going to get off the rip. But Trevion week 14, I think, regardless, is a really good eliminator pick. And unlike Swift, his ADP is the same. That is interesting that Swift is like the only one that's getting the 10 pick premium, essentially.
Yeah. Which is, I guess part of it makes sense to me. Like no one thinks Swift isn't going to be the lead back out of the gate, right? Like the worry is just like, hey, they didn't invest a lot this offseason. They, Roshan, I know you Manon guys will rise up. I think it's basically just saying like there's more worry about it going south in BBM 15 through 17 than there is in this contest where you feel better about your first 6 to 8 weeks of DeAndre Swift. So it kind of makes sense to me, but I think you could apply that to some other players who aren't necessarily getting pushed up across the contest.
I also think that this is a little sneak preview of where DeAndre Swift is going in BBM too, as well. I think he's on the rise as camp starts and he's running with the ones. Ben Johnson, he's our RB1. We're excited to see what he can do. And, they continue to not make moves. Like him and Roshan are just very different guys. I think maybe DeAndre Swift could fall if they're like, no, like Roshan is like if they explicitly state he's the goal line back. And I mean, he did have a lot of goal line usage last season. I could see that maybe, kind of sinking the Swift ADP, but all signs point to this, like this being their guy and this being their room. And yeah.
One other thing that Ian had actually just tweeted this out, Ian Hartitz from Fantasy Life, the biggest offensive line improvements, looking at the grades from PFF last year to this year. And the Bears are, I believe, the highest, if not the second. They jumped from like 21 to 4. So it's just like, man, the offensive line is better. Year 2, Caleb, the best offensive coordinator in the league, becoming your head coach. Like everything just aligns for these guys to smash.
Mike Clay has them as like his one of his top ranked offensive lines too in his projection. He has like unit grades in his PDF. Yeah, he's got a 10 out of 10 on the Bears O line.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was always the big knock on Caleb last year. Like he was just like under pressure, but then he tried to play within structure instead of playing like free and easy like he was at USC, where he would just like roll, scramble, hold on to the ball forever, and then do whatever the F he wanted. That's it. That makes me kind of bullish for a dude who can't swing a baseball bat.
Which is what we're playing. Baseball, pretty swings here is what we're
all right. For. I don't think anything with quarterback on the menu for us here. Can ignore this Judkins rank. I think these are old leg up ranks that I haven't refreshed. I guess I can do that before the next pick. but by ADP, Laporta is the slight faller. Addison, Downs, Mason.
I'd say
I go like
Downs
Laporta or Downs.
Downs or Laporta, yeah.
Ned,
I'd
you
say
wanna break that
Downs.
tie?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid that week 8 bye. I know it's a tight end,
Yep.
but it's just less points on a week that's already pretty difficult to avoid.
Yeah,
Downs a nice ad.
There's a pretty good point in the chat. I don't know who said it earlier. I could find it in a second, but just to the thing that like 8 is so plentiful that the vast majority of your opponents, if you're able to make it to 8, are going to have overlap in players that have been good that are also in week 8. Like, you know what I mean? So then going head to head, they're probably going to have studs on buys, because if like Amon-Ra and Adams are like 2 of the best wide receivers for that first 8 weeks, they're going to be on so many eliminator teams.
I have no problem taking a shot with like a Golden here, or Mooney. What do you guys think?
Either or.
Tracy.
In a vacuum, I like Golden. Say again?
You guys go wide receiver.
No, I don't mind Tracy.
Okay, I just overruled both you guys. I feel, but I'm huge on Tracy in the Eliminator.
Yeah, I definitely a good Eliminator ass pick. I love obviously the week 14 buy stuff. Hang on, what were you just talking about, John? I had a thought about something you were saying.
The Golden versus
right before that.
Week 8 buys.
The week 8
the
studs
week 8
versus studs being on buys.
Yeah, I think the only thing I was gonna say is that there still is like probably so much pod luck with that, right? Where yes, like you could be paired up against a fully week 8 heavy team, but just as easily as you can a team that like completely avoided it. So I just like don't know how much you can control for it, but it is an out, right? Like it is a thing of saying like one of the reasons those there were some of the teams we looked at with a lot of bye weeks, and it's just like you can hit the random pod luck nuts on your worst week. Like that's one of the fun randomness things about this contest is that pod luck can work in both directions and bail you out. So yeah, I think that is a case for sometimes not overthinking bye weeks, and why the stuff in the Sims we were looking at didn't show the bye week stuff to be like super impactful, because I think the pod luck and the super late buys like offsetting the EV kind of made it maybe more of a wash than people on the surface would think.
Yeah, I can't wait for you thought pod luck variance conversations of missing the jump by like 8 points was like bad in like BBM. Oh, I cannot wait for people to be like, I scored 175 and this 136 team gets through in week 6 of my eliminator. I can't wait.
That is very much going to happen.
Oh, I'm going to drink those things.
Well, yeah, because you can have, you're going to have a juggernaut team, and then you're going to run into this year's Mathology. It just be like, then you're going to start looking at your other ones and be like, I would have won this week. But maybe that's part of the sweat, that you get to just kind of go through and pretend that one of your teams was still alive.
Did you bring up, I was listening to your video, I wasn't watching it. Did you bring up the week by week scoring of Mathology's team?
No, we didn't. I just pulled up the overall roster.
I wonder, like that's the overall highest scoring team in BBM. I'd be very curious what his like lowest scoring week was, and like what the delta between his lowest and highest was. Like, would he be eliminated in week 6 or something?
I thought I saw a bar graph of like.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think you're right. I will pull this up in a second once we make these picks. Let me get quarterbacks back up here and tight ends. I'm just going to refresh too with the ranks. All right. About to pick here. Goff with Amon-Ra, your guy Cooper Kupp, running back big tier break here. Kupp, what do you guys want?
I like these quarterbacks. Or good, John.
Yeah, I kind of like Kupp, and then whatever quarterback comes back to us, just because there's like a big tier. Like we can backstack Dak, and guys behind us or beside us has 2 QBs already.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good shout. I like this. This is like the QB pocket,
Mhm.
So I do think that grabbing one of these guys makes sense. And because it's the eliminator, don't really not going to lose any sleep if we don't stack any of these guys.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
mind goes to Dak plus Ferg. I like Dak more than I like Caleb this year, like just kind of in a vacuum. But if you guys want to do Goff plus, I'm cool with it. But another week 8 bye feels gross, even though it's Dak.
Week 10 unstacked Dak with a few different options later feels good to me.
I like Dak, man. I think the Cowboys are going to pass a ton. He seems like such a great median selection here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's a good, you're getting him at an ADP discount here. Where I kind of arrived in that video was like, I still want to stack, but if there's a format where you don't need to, force it, like in the way that BBM kind of forces you, the way you're trying to open yourself up to the variance for the pods, you are still playing a weekly head-to-head cash game, essentially in a way that, especially too, like if the Dallas offense is maybe more spread out this year, because Ferg, Pickens, and Lamb, that could be a thing where that actually works in your favor.
I was just about to ask you guys, do you think there is enough of the field porting over their BBM stuff to this and doing all the stacking principles that there's actually leverage in playing like 150 unstacked lineups because you won't like combinatorially overlap with people as much? Or do you think the field isn't far enough down that pendulum yet?
I think you're just probably burning so many rosters of like having to hit 18 leg parlays.
Yeah.
I do think you smooth out your distribution though. You definitely kind of shrink the left and right tail, which I think a lot of people would probably accept. I think if you were to offer them like, hey, you want to buy this portfolio of 150 unstacked teams versus 150 stacked teams just to compare the two to one another, I'd pay more for the unstacked 150.
Interesting. Yeah. My brain kind of went the same spot, especially with the Battle Royale research we've been doing. Like, I don't know, obviously shorter rosters, but I don't know.
Because you think about, right? Like, let's say your opponents are maybe stacking at a little too high of a frequency and your team has like a higher weekly floor. The way this gauntlet still works, though, you're going to run into that team that has the quarterback wide receiver stack that goes off in that week. Right. And now you're like, do you have enough raw firepower in ceiling to compete with that team where it's like you might pick off 4 teams in a row where it's like your stack failed, your stack, and I'm just like humming along with my median. And it's like, all right, but are you equipped to go head to head with the 180 point score?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna lose that one to the 180 guy 99% of the time anyways. So that's just GG's, man. You just gotta chunk the deuce on that one. But stacking later, I think is definitely
yes,
okay for sure.
It's similar to weekly winners in that regard as well.
Yep, very similar.
I don't think we have to do anything with QB here. We could probably just lock up Ferguson if we wanted to do that, unless you guys see anything else you have to have.
Berger, Rashad White for me.
Nez,
Berg.
Any thoughts? Yeah. Mm-hmm. We need a tight end. Let's get that first tight end. We can get that quarterback tight end stack here. So real quickly for our audio listeners, we got Dak to Ferg, 4 running backs, Derrick Henry, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Josh Downs, Cooper Kupp. We do have 3 week 8 buys at wide receiver, just the 2 week 7 buys at running back, and then Dak and Ferg in week 10 there. But pretty good balance, I would say, overall.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I like this team.
Back on the clock, we could do Goddard for another tight end here. Wide receivers kind of You could do Eckler if you want some more running back firepower.
I would say Eckler, I think.
Eckler or Goddard?
Yeah, good with either.
I didn't mean to absolutely mog you, John. You could have still spoken your piece there. I'm sorry.
I would have got ahead a quarterback there before they run on the other side of the board, and I would have just taken a naked one and then backstacked. Just because I do think there's like quite this tier break in job security between like QB 21 and 24 and like the kind of dust balls you slam after.
Yeah, it is you can definitely on this side of the board get shut out. We do have some like secondary stuff, like Darnold should be hanging around a little bit, so we can see. Here's my guy Christopher Davis, who worked on all the Sims. He just sent me a link of the mythology
perfect
bar chart here, so you can see here. And Patrick Donovan mentions his low scoring week 2, the 126.2. Otherwise, man, just a beast in that week 8 through 14 range. Just putting up like 160 a week. But this is the cruel thing about this contest, right? Like week 2, he could have been bounced, and then this team never gets to emerge.
Yeah, it'll be fun to retroactively look at what like mean score to advance is in the Eliminator when it's head to head versus what it was last year with this year's sample, right?
Yep. Again, kudos to Christopher Davis for all of his help messing around with that data. Awesome work there. All right, so we add at that turn, stay in balance there with Eckler and Kupp as our running back and wide receiver pairing. Since we picked Penix, Bryce Young, we do lose Stafford there at the turn.
Yeah, can we look at the QBs that are still available?
Geno's another good like quarterback to run naked, and then also like Besh and Dante Thornton are so cheap in this contest that I don't mind that at all.
The problem with the Darnold and Geno one was they're also week 8 buys that are still sitting here,
That's true.
I think 2 is the dream, but we'll see what line of scrimmage does.
Cam Ward's also a really nice backstack.
And then we gotta take a third because he lines up with Dak.
Oh, that's true.
But
that's true. Although we were probably doing
Jackson
that
Dart's
anyway.
probably. Oh yeah, Jackson Dart's probably going to start by then.
All right, 2 is
cool.
here, so that makes it easy.
Perfect, and it stacks.
I'd probably go to Darnold on this team, like without even thinking the next 2 picks. But
yeah, let's see if there's anything big that would push us off of that. But yeah, getting Tua there past ADP on a Waddle team is really nice, especially because if we had, did Charlie go? Oh, he had Tajay Spears. That would actually been tilting because we were deciding Ridley versus Waddle, and if we were sweating Cam Ward to come back for Ridley instead. Tight ends here, you can probably push it. I'm with John. I don't mind locking up Darnold unless you want to play for one of the Colts quarterbacks late.
Let's throw Darnold in you. I guess let's just take Darnold. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with
who
it.
else would have been in the conversation for you?
I think probably Blue or Algier. I would have thrown out and try to get you guys to take a free Jackson Dart with 10 and 12 buys on this team. I feel I'm pretty optimistic that he's gonna start this season, and potentially and I think he has an out to start sooner than later. And with week 10 and week 12 buys, you do have the opportunity to take those hits with him since he's a week 14 buy, and those guys are going to be putting up points for you up until that point that he does start, if and when he gets there. But I get that it's a little risky for an eliminator, but I think at this, I wasn't going to take Dart here. Obviously, I just think down the road and potentially get a big hit at running back. That was my thought.
Did you guys see the bullish Russ Wilson shit this morning?
I saw that he did like a big profile with, was it Connor Orr?
Yeah, and he wants to play like 5 more years, and they were like unearthing all his stuff that he did last year and how he wasn't like that bad, and everybody's perception of him is worse than he actually is now and stuff.
Well, that's the thing too. And I guess it's because I do think Russell Wilson is a much, much better pick and a pretty interesting pick in the Eliminator as well. Like, I mean, I don't know, like where are you guys realistically, where do you set the line on games started for Russell Wilson this year?
11.
You set the line at 11?
Yep.
I think I'm closer to John too. I was going to say like 9.5.
Yeah.
Dayball's
Dayball's last kick at the can to save his job, man.
Yeah, so you play the washed vet as opposed to like flashing the rookie project that you're trying to like establish hope with the owner and be like, look, we drafted this guy. Like he's look at the promise that this guy has. He runs and he makes these like flashy plays. Like you got to trust us because like we drafted him and this is like this is our guy. You don't think that there's any sort of like that last ditch effort as opposed to like trotting Russell Wilson to save your job?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's like the future Hall of Famer leader in the room, doesn't turn the ball over mantra of like just stay in here and distribute. I think it's Steelers all over again, and they don't want the variance of Dart until it's absolutely necessary. If they start like 3-5, then 100% wheels up. It's Dart season, save us all kind of thing. But if they somehow start like 5-3, they're just going to keep rolling.
Yeah, and I also think like how they approached the position this year was like, let's throw a lot of shit against the wall. Russ, Jameis, in a way that oh, hang on. We're back on the clock. I do love me some Shipley, Kate Otten at tight end there.
Shipley or Otten for me. Nez.
Shipley.
Ford's there too.
I would say on this team, like at running back now, I think we take a big cut, like get our one kind of handcuff upside since it's just like all bankable touches otherwise.
Yeah, I think that like Shipley, some sneaky standalone stuff without Kenneth Gainwell there too.
Right.
Not that it's really going to put you over the median for an eliminator, but definitely like probably not fully baked in by the market.
And now we are kind of looking at a 3-6-6-3 here. Do you want to lock up Otten or do you want to like dip into Waller early?
No, I like Otten.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Waller's
we're at 3-6-5-2.
Waller's just like variants that I don't necessarily want in my life in an eliminator format. Like even when Waller was playing football, he wasn't like that good. Like, and he's 33. Like,
yeah. So fully loaded mentioning, Pick'em Lobby has Dart at 4.5 regular season games. Which what is that like? Week 13.5, week 13. It's kind of putting it at 14.
What did you say their buy was? Nez 12 or
it's
10?
14.
Oh, it's 14.
I do. It's crazy how like similar the situation feels to last year. Well, but I guess the difference, and maybe a notch in Nez's point, is that the Giants defense is going to be nowhere as good as the Steelers defense to keep them in games, to keep things from falling apart. Because when the team's doing bad, the quarterback has nowhere to hide. Whereas like they could kind of keep justifying, Russ is fine. The defense is keeping us in games. Games are close, whatever. Like if it fully goes off the rails for them, they won't have a choice. But man, Russ is just like a cockroach, man. Like he'll be just good enough to avoid like the outright benching. And he'll probably pepper the shit out of neighbors too for a while in a way that'll be like not that bad for us.
Yep. I agree.
Definitely an upgrade on Danny Dimes and geez, I can't remember who the hell they had playing quarterback last year.
The Italian guy.
Tommy DeVito. Who still is on the roster, I believe, right? He's their QB4 or whatever. Which is pretty fun.
Interesting. He's still there. Yeah. Mike Clay for his unit grades here does have a decent like pass rush on the Giants, which that does check out. But secondary is sus. And offensively, as you can imagine, a lot of red in the conditional formatting.
Yeah.
with a 3 with a grade of 3 on the O line, which that's not good for Russ if they are going to allow pressure, because that's the bugaboo for Russ is he takes sacks at an enormous clip.
Yeah, good point.
All right, here's the team so far. We got those two more picks. We're looking good at quarterback. Dak, Tua, and Darnold. Rainbow buys. Derrick Henry, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, Eckler, Shipley. Pretty strong running back room there. Amon-Ra, Adams, Waddle, Downs, Cup at wide receiver. Ferguson, Cade Otton. So most likely looking at a third tight end and a sixth wide receiver here.
Mm-hmm. This team's begging for Jauan Johnson. Is he still there?
Let's see. Nope.
Okay.
But Theo Johnson is.
Theo Johnson, Mason Taylor, Higbee, or take a rookie.
No one likes throwing touchdowns to random tight ends and backup tight ends quite like Russell Wilson. He did that in Seattle so many fucking times,
man. I love Diami, but I just don't know if we can do another week 8 guy here. We can take a crack on some upside with Knoll, or I always love me some Coker. Franklin's fine. What do you guys?
Pierce or Coker, or Lockett.
Okay, quick. Whew, that was a close one.
That's a good eliminator
John
pick.
One there. Yeah,
I like that. What do you guys think about taking a 7th wide receiver?
Man. I agree with you that the wide receivers are better, like just project for more points here.
And we have 3 week 8 buys. So in week 8, we're running out Tyler Lockett, Jalen Waddle, and Josh Downs.
So I want, if we do another one, I want it to be a rookie with some upside. I want some Knoll.
Okay. I think that would be my preference.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we just say, you know what, tight ends, they don't separate. You only have to start one. We got two of them that are going to run a shit ton of routes, and just go tight end. Doesn't matter that much. Thesis.
that much with like the soft asterisks.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely asking a lot of Jake Ferguson on this team.
Yeah.
But I do think it was a good point to bring up. And, I've been talking about it with Pat on Best Ball Breakfast of like, we do get take locked on specific structures that feel good, but if the players aren't actually there to make it work. Ty in the chat says, I don't get the obsession with 3 tight end contests. Pretty interesting. The guy who took 1 tight end in this draft, Brock Bowers, doesn't get the obsession. I don't like that in this, like taking a 0 in a head-to-head matchup to me doesn't feel good in this contest.
Yeah, it's a weekly winner's ass play.
The whole thing, well, here, let me maybe try to steel man it, because like from my vantage point, one of the big benefits of the elite tight ends is specifically in Best Ball Mania, where they can separate and have the need to have it scored. And like John said, you're trying to hit the nuts. Brock Bowers is going to have like the highest ceiling of any tight end. Brock Bowers can go for 30 in week 15, and like no teams without Brock Bowers are advancing essentially. But in this contest, you are playing a series of head-to-head matchups where you are opening yourselves up. And these elite tight ends still have down games. Like Brock Bowers will have a 4-point game one of these weeks. And it's just like to put your entire team on the back of that. Like, I just don't know if that's a smart long-term strategy.
You got to cover the bye. It just doesn't make a lot. Like you're threading such a thin needle by not covering the bye. Like I think, I mean, and maybe this is like no duh, still not good, but like single Brock Bowers makes more sense in like a best ball tournament than it does in the Eliminator, because it's like I have Brock Bowers, he's going to do enough over the course of a season that I don't need a second tight end, and he's going to do so well that I don't even need those tight end points on his bye week, and he's crushing in the playoffs as opposed to Eliminator, where like, hey, you could be dead on his bye week.
And I just think it extends even past his bye week, just with how low the floor is for any tight end scoring, on a weekly basis. It kind of just feels like
half PPR, yeah.
Playing like Russian roulette over and over, and like, yes, it's a 17 round chamber, and like you're probably good on each individual week, but the more times you keep spinning that gun, like it's gonna bite you at some point. But again, I could see it if Brock Bowers has a Travis Kelce like season and you let Podluck roll in your favor. Sure.
What? Okay, let me gal brain take here. The Ty saying that Bowers, McBride, and Laporta are all on bye that week.
To me, that supports the other side of this.
Well, yeah. So then what I was going to ask here is George Kittle the most important man in the world? Because he has a wide receiver room that is decimated and guys arguing over contracts right now. And he's kind of like the only other tight end that can separate in terms of monster ceiling. And we've seen it so many times. And he's a 4th round pick instead of being a middle of the 2nd round pick right now. And he has a week 14 bye.
He's a great pick in the Eliminator.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything. I think if you want to make a bear case against Kittle, it's just he's going to be more volatile than the McBride and Bowers. Like his lows are going to be even lower than those guys because he probably won't have the per target or per game target floor that those other guys have. But no, I mean, like, I'm not going to say anything bad about George Kittle. But to me, the point of like, if all of those guys are on bye, like all the more that like a lot of teams relying on 2 tight ends with those elites are going to be so fragile that week. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm an elite tight end slappy. I love them. But the reason I get excited about them is because of the had to have it scores that they can put up in pod weeks. And this is to say, like, I'm drafting Bowers teams in Eliminator. I'm just doing 2 tight end teams with him. So I think I want to meet in the middle of the extremist tie here, but I like the moxie. Goods wants us to draft a Dalmation. Let me just quickly recap this team for the audio listeners for a little closure, and then we'll hop in. Actually, what I'll do, let's make sure this gets filled. I'll hop in, and then we can recap why this is filling. Genius. 2 more people, so this is going to fill here. Let's head over and review this team. Dak, Tua, and Darnold at quarterback. Derrick Henry, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, Austin Eckler, and Will Shipley at running back. Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Josh Downs, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, and Jalen Knoll at wide receiver. Tight end, Jake Ferguson and Cade Otton. I think we navigated the bye week stuff pretty well after the top there. Got bailed out, I think, a little bit on the big Tua slide. Felt really good. And then, semi-weak tight end room, but I like the shout from Nez with the available player pool there.
Yeah, no, I like this team. I think like the obvious bugaboos are those double bye weeks that we have for like both running back and wide receiver. But I think like the upside is that there's not a lot of overlap outside of those 4 specific players. So you can make the case that like we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine because we have good flex players in general. I like that team.
Yeah,
Jauan,
likewise.
any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I like it as well. I feel a little bit comfier with a 3rd tight end there, but given the context of the roster, I thought the decision made sense, and also that all the tight ends ran off on the left-hand side of the board, so there wasn't much else. So taking the upside shot at Noel in the last round makes sense. I think a couple like things that I would do to like, I think we really got bailed out by the Tua. One, I think passing on Austin Eckler was the move there, just given what we had, and taking a quarterback to make sure that we didn't need that like slide from Tua to save us kind of deal, but it worked out.
Yeah, and the fun kind of the angle, if you're putting this team under a microscope, we're getting ready to sweat it. It's like, week 7, you need Amon-Ra and Adams to carry us. You need big scores from our top 2 wide receivers, and then you flip it. And in week 8, we need Henry and Cook to go off to carry, not having our top 2 wide receivers there. So it's like a lot of this team and comes down to just that week 7, week 8 dynamic.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We hopped in a Dalmation, and we got the 111 here. For people who missed it, very fun contest here. $101 to enter, hence the Dalmation, 3-entry max, 3K to first, 4 of 12 advance week 1, 1 of 5 week 15, 1 of 8 week 16, and 23 seat final. So definitely a contest to think about week 16, just like a smidge more. And we are on the clock here. Neighbors, Genty, BTJ. We generally go neighbors here.
Yeah. Tier break.
Yeah. I really like the neighbors H-hand start and the neighbors or Nico H-hand start.
Yeah.
Backside of the board is just such it's just so easy to draft. Like these starts are always so nutted.
Should we do H-hand since we did a big dog last time?
Yeah, it's your 101, so whatever you want, dog.
My 101.
Dude, these I'm like surprised at like how small you can make the finals for a $100 tournament while still doing 4 out of 12 in round 1. That's pretty cool. And it's just like, and it's still 30K up top. So like this is I love this structure. And I hope that we get like a $50 best ball tournament soon, maybe like double, like double the Dalmation or something, and do like 50. Like people are really into mid stakes. I feel like the demographic of best ballers has changed, where like 101 or the Dalmation last year, and especially 2 years ago, definitely would have been like a little harder to fill. I think now like the people on the site have like much more liquidity to hit these mid stakes. I mean, people are literally there's just not a tournament you can put up on Underdog that people won't draft the shit out of. But like I'm seeing a lot of positive feedback on mid stakes. Like people are loving it.
I know, and it's so funny how like now there's like these niches within the best ball niche, and there's like obviously we have our give me the dollar drafts, the puppies, the palms, and whatever. But it was cool to see the chorus of people who are like, no, this is my contest. Where's my pit bulls? Where's my chow chows? My Dalmatians? Like there is something to it. Like there's 2 elements and modes of it. Even separating bankroll and whatever is just like the idea of just ripping drafts, trying new things out, auto experimenting with 4 tight ends in every build. And also the idea of it, like when you have your $101 draft, it's like, oh, this feels like my big home league draft, like the one draft that matters. Like there's something about it of like, go get my guys. I can only put 3 in here. It just feels a little bit more special. I think that's a cool angle too. Aside from the dynamics of, yes, it's easier to advance to the finals.
It is true. It's that home league feel, right? We've kind of we've totally numbed the good feelings that we get in our brains because we do. I mean, it still hits every time. Don't get me wrong. I love logging into the dog app and drafting, but like we did sort of like suppress those like strong feelings of a home league. And you're right. Like the mid stakes, high stakes kind of, revives that feeling.
Also, I saw some people mention in the chat, just saw the tweet here, rookies and sophomores contest is live too. I mean, I started this show out by saying Underdog put something in the lobby for everyone. And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, here's rookies and sophomores draft as well.
Yeah. Bullish week on the platform here. We got Best Puck Classic last night. We got Double Dribble to last week there. We got the mini Schnauzer that was up there. And, maybe a little something coming on Thursday with the Badge Bros in tandem there.
Ferda,
indeed.
Ferda boys.
Ferda Mondays.
That's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just the amount of stuff. I mean, the someone now too, like, because I guess the only thing we don't have as far as like the Uber variety now is Superflex filled? That filled, right?
Yep.
Superflex. Nez was trying to fill another Superflex in the BBB there. Like he's trying to get everything Superflex. He wants BBM Superflex next year.
I'm totally cool with Josh Allen in this structure.
We always get elites, elite QBs,
or we could go Kyron. I like Kyron. All right, let's do Kyron and push it.
I'm a little scared of like the 600 plus touch crowd. with all those running backs and, Kyron's lack of explosive rate runs last year. But like, dude, McVay just loves to use one guy and he trusts him so much. So I don't know.
I'd also be fine just pulling up Omari and Hampton here and going ham on 3 running backs to start.
Spicy,
yeah, that's
I'm
fun.
in.
Let's do it. The other thing too is like, not that we're going to get insane closing line value here, because I do think he's like maybe capped a little bit, but this is going to be a time box contest. Like this is going to fill in the next couple of days. So we can maybe play a few angles and not have to worry about, specific versions of teams that are slightly better.
Respect it.
Mm-hmm. Hampton's fun, man. Just above all else, he's just a fun pick. If he's going to be like what we've chalked him up to be.
We didn't really do this side of the coin when we were having the Najee conversation before. Let's play Najee pup list. And things aren't coming along. He's got to see a specialist. He hasn't played a single preseason game or camp. Where would you take Hampton? Because we talked about room to rise on the other side with the Browns stuff. Is there even room for Hampton to rise?
Not over, in my opinion. I don't think so. I think he's got some pretty difficult resistance in front of him positionally.
I think he could move up into like the mid third.
Right.
I think the market is pretty ambivalent about the wide receivers going here. And I also think there's a lot of like you said, like these 3, I'll put Josh Jacobs ahead of Chase Brown since this was just a weird anomaly in this draft compared to ADP. But like the Chase, Breece, and Kyron, like those 3 spook the shit out of like the market in general. Like, yes, they have around 3 ADP, but like anytime those guys are discussed ever, it's like the downside. Like no one ever really wants to talk about like the upside scenarios for those guys. So like, I don't know. I think it's pretty easy to dream on Omari and Hampton. I mean, you want to talk about the offensive O-line stuff. The Chargers, another one of those top 5 most improved. We know what Harbaugh wants to do. You add in uncertainty about Najee. You get a 3-down skill set. That was the whole reason Omari and Hampton went in the first round. It was like, this dude can do it all. I like it. It doesn't seem crazy to me to have him valued as like a mid third.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Right. I think like the best case scenario for Hampton's awesome. It's just like, can he really jump Kyron and Breece? That to me, like if he did, I would have to like fade him, which would, in my opinion, I would be light on him if he went ahead of Kyron and Breece.
Interesting.
He probably wouldn't jump Kyron like based on any news other than injury, obviously. But like I think the Breece stuff can get very bearish. Like there's already athletic stuff going around. They're saying Braylon Allen's going to be the David Montgomery to his Jameer Gibbs. Like there's
they were asked. They're like pick a breakout, and he's like, well, what if he's David Montgomery?
No, I know. I'm just saying that stuff can impact how drafters think.
Rome or
Rome, I think.
I don't do a lot of Rome, so I can catch up on my exposure here.
Get eat up, boy, but I'm scared, man. They got so many bodies there.
I'm terrified of Rome.
Yeah.
I
don't like it very much.
I have so little because I always take Jauan in that spot. So, but it's good to do a little diversifying. Yeah, I think we're like Olave, Godwin, Judy here.
Yeah, let's do Olave. All right. Rome could be a great hit. Also, obviously, like a pretty you're paying for the upper band of outcomes for him, I would say, but it could still be better than even this if everything goes right.
Yeah, Dink's got to get my ass unstuck on Rome shit this year by me just pounding him in the 5th round over and over again.
I mean, it's like what we talked about with Swift and like the O-line being good. Ben Johnson is there. I think like the market is being smart and not putting Rome up to the Devontae Adams like in the 3rd. But like I think last year if this happened last year, I don't know. would we in years prior when we were just like out of control, like slap fest? Like I think the market's a little more under control this year, but like, man, 2 or 3 years ago, Ben Johnson to the Bears with Caleb, I think we would have just been like, you don't understand. You don't understand. We can't even think about last year. You can't even put that into your inputs because the difference is just, like we're just like so much more understanding of, range of outcomes right now, or at least that's how it feels to me. The market's almost a little too reserved.
Yeah,
we need to be slappies again, man. Let's have some fun.
We should, as Pathology said, have nice things. Speaking of nice things,
dude,
how about Best Ball Guy dishing out 10 membies, coming in here, both Badge Bros and Overzet channel memberships. Best Ball Good Guy there. Thank you, sir, for that. New membies, take advantage of all of the membies only content on the Badge Bros. Are you guys running baseball today?
No baseball because it's the All-Star break, but I'm going to do Best
bad.
Puck Classic and the Double Dribble, and I'm slowly working and cooking Small Star Game pick'ems up here.
Beautiful. Also, I should mention, generally, there's some tiers on my channel for memberships, and I normally do Best Ball Value Hounds is for the After Dark, but because Shady came and gifted 50 members, I changed it to any and all members yesterday. So regardless of what tier you have, if you're one of the new ones that just got received, go check out that episode. It's like an hour and 45 minutes of really good stuff.
That was the thesis for this shirt, by the way. It's MLB All-Star break. So I'm on
You're on vacation mode, baby.
I'm on island time.
And also plug for BBG. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let's make this pick.
I think we're still in wide receiver mode here. We just did Josh Downs, Mooney, Igbuka.
I like Downs. Downs or Mooney?
Yeah.
I'm good with
Downs.
You can also do something that's been happening more on the right-hand side of the board now because of these weird tiers is the Igbuka plus Baker, like right here. But I like it a little bit more when you already have Evans.
Yeah, I like checking in on the Evans and Godwin drafters sometimes when pulling. Igbuka does go. So Hawk or Mooney.
Let's do Hawk. I feel like we don't take a lot of him on stream.
No, we don't. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hawk could be a sweet eliminator ass pick if Addison misses the first 3 games and he just eats like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I understand why Hawk is priced this way, and he's the tweener of like you're never going to get like a full blown breakout, and he's going to have a lot of like down weeks that are probably comparable to like the Fergs and the Goddards who go way cheaper, and that price gap is a little too big. But I also think like if McCarthy is legit, like this offense is just going to hum. And then, yeah, like John said, you get the benefit of like the contingent upside of any week Addison or Jefferson is out. Like it's kind of the Kittle effect. Same with the Niners, where all of a sudden you're just stepping into like a 10 target floor. So the hope is that like the offense is good enough that he just has like a decent floor in season. And then you get the spikes or the contingent upside, like when it really matters.
Absolutely. Guys, you want to talk about expense in the one hole there? Very interesting decision and spot in $101 draft that you advance 4 to Onslaught Bengals, but then try and push it in a room with a bunch of experienced drafters and then get sniped by one of the black and white badges in the middle there on Burrow. Just like macro thoughts of, going Onslaught with your first couple picks relative to this contest, relative to pushing 4 through. Is it necessary? What do you guys think?
I think it's safer to do it in here than in like BBM. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like onslaughting in the Dalmation for sure.
Yeah. I would say, I think I would be on more alert for the solo quarterback snipe, the naked quarterback snipe, just because you don't need as much like stacking variance in these smaller pods as you do, 23 person final, 1 of 5, 1 of 8. Like you get really excited about the Burrow to Chase because it's like if they, Burrow drops 30 and Chase drops 35 or whatever. Whereas in this, I think people can just like Burrow and be like, I'll make it work. Like I don't have to have the mega stack to get the raw points I need to advance.
Would you
Yeah, I
guys
agree.
then, if you guys set it up like that, would you then always take Burrow in the 5th and never risk it then?
I think if I ripped it in like this, I think I am probably taking Burrow at 4-5 there. And in this contest, like in a puppy or whatever, yeah, clackety clack. Let's do it. But like my 6-7, my Pearsall Laporta, like I think I'm willing to should we do Caleb here with Rome?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I like getting a quarterback in this window. We don't have a ton of like super attractive options with Giants, Colts, and Saints. So getting one kind of breakout potential quarterback here, I think feels good.
Yeah, the other one there is you could do like Trey Harrison, wait for like Herbert later. Like that's
Trey Harrison, wait for him to ever play football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Goods took Burden from us. I was eyeing him.
I was gonna ask you guys. I think I'd prefer to take Loveland on like a,
Well, let's talk here about this pick though. Want like a Bateman or Dobbins?
I like Bateman.
The reason I don't want to do the running back there is because then I do feel like we're done, and I just want to keep a little flexibility for another running back value pick.
Yep, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather use that. I mean, I know we got 2 overlapping buys out of our 3, but in this format, I think it's okay to have like a little bit of a down week if, our picks are correct and it's 4 out of 12 anyways. Like I'm not really sweating, having a down week with our overlapping buys of running back, and it opens us up for a handcuff pick where we potentially get some major upside after. So yeah, I'm fine with how we played that.
So I think I would have just taken Loveland right there.
Dude, Loveland's been coming back to where we're picking. I want you to just shut up about Colston Loveland for a little bit.
You know what? He's not ready. He's not ready for camp. He's got the shoulder thing. He wasn't ready to go today.
Yes. We shall see.
You can't take a rookie tight end.
No, that's a death. Caleb Williams at quarterback. We got our 3 early running backs, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, Omarion Hampton. Wide receiver Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, Chris Olave, Josh Downs, Rashad Bateman, and then tight end TJ Hawkinson there. You can blame the sidekick for the Burden snipe. Get rid of the tools. Ban the tools. I mean, you guys. I mean, look. If I don't mind people using these in the comfort of their own home, in the darkness of their basement, like at night, like multi-tabling 8 drafts, logging in to make picks and 20 slow Dalmatians. But when we're just streaming for the boys, for you to be using the sidekick right now is just egregious. Just raw dog it with the rest of his brother.
Come on. Just hanging out, man.
I thought we were just having some seltzers and like kicking back with a draft, and he's over here fucking running the Sims on us. Jesus.
Gotta run it again, man. Run them again.
Use your Goods. Have you ever considered using your own brain when you make a pick, brother?
Small guy coming.
Goodness. How can I get back at you? Is the question. Josh Allen, you better hope that I don't start pitching Dalton Kincaid to the fellas right about now.
I'm here for it.
A little Dalton Kincaid, Ray Davis. Yeah, a little Joshua Palmer. Good. See how your little sim kick likes that, brother.
I'm not saying we have to do it on this team, but are you guys never Jackson Dart just while we have
Nez hasn't let it go. He's like, these fuckers shot down my Jackson Dart. No, I take Dart in the BBM style stuff a good bit.
Okay.
All right, John. I told you to be patient, motherfucker. Loveland would come back. There you go. Okay. All right, let's do it.
I was gonna overrule you.
Loveland, let it go.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Otherwise,
that's a nice tight end.
You gonna do this?
I think you...
Oh, look at this, Goods. You want to take this guy out of the queue too, brother? See what the sidekick's telling you now. See what it's telling you.
We are the Sims.
There you go. He goes for Shad White. Do we want to do quarterback?
I like naked quarterback and backstack, honestly.
Love opposite Hawkinson, Lawrence opposite Indy.
Lawrence.
Okay.
I'm a bye week,
Oh,
bro.
and the bye week. Yeah, good catch there.
I think we'll end up with 3 anyways, though, won't we?
You're not wrong.
But yeah, I'd rather them not have bye weeks that share.
I saw Tube saying we should just rock solo Caleb in the chat. And I'm like, bro, chill. Yeah, so we get Lawrence there. Lawrence is a nice backstack guy as well.
Yeah, it's a little harder when you fill up the tight end spot where you don't have the Strange out, because the Strange is a comfy, tight end 2 click there. But you can do De'Ami Brown, or you could do Tank Bigsby, which is traditionally speaking not a great stacking partner, but he did catch some decent passes last year.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's like a leak in my game. I do it like when you get backed into a corner, but being more willing to do some of the backstack versions of those teams. I think it's hard for me with Lawrence, just when you have 2 really stud options at the top with Brian Thomas and Hunter, where it's like a little like Love. It's an easier mental leap for me in that. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying like my own psychoanalyzing myself here of like, oh, it's so ambiguous. It's like Dobbs, you tack on whoever, what, like it seems like less of a reach to me, but it's like, if Lawrence smashes and it's spread out, and De'Ami and Brenton Strange are very much involved, like in the way Jaden Daniels really spread it out last year, like that stuff can work in a pretty big way.
Yeah, well said. I'm an idiot. He only caught 7 balls last year. I thought it was more than that.
They were good though. They were good.
Fucking catches all year, buddy.
Sorry, I bet Love opposite Bateman. I knew we had one there. Yes, Hawkins.
Somebody purple.
Famously. Somebody. All right, we're about to pick again here. This is probably where we just pull up Strange and be done at tight end.
Yeah, I'm happy to do 3.
Yeah, I think we owe it to ourselves to stack with that pick. Obviously, we have it another out down the road, but yeah, I prefer Strange here with T-Law.
Yeah, and then we're certainly in the market for some more wide receivers. You could also shut it down at running back with Tank if you wanted to have him as the 4th correlated bet there with Jacksonville, or you can go with a wide receiver. What do you guys think?
Yeah, either Tank or like Samson, if you wanted to scroll and do that and not be correlated. I'd do either of those.
Nez, Tank or Samson, your 2 loves right now.
Let's do Samson.
Yeah, I love Samson. I think even minus the correlation thing, I think this is a fun share to grab here before this contest locks.
That's what I was thinking.
It also fits the running back room. I mean, like Tank definitely has like the big contingent upside and like a standalone role potentially at the goal line and stuff already. But like, I don't think he'll ever be a 3-down guy, even if you end up losing ETN or something like that, or you end up losing Tootin from that rotation. Like, I never think he'll be a 3-down guy. Like Samson just seems like a good upside swing where if he turns bell cow associated with the high capital that we spend, it makes sense.
Yep. I love how scared people are of Travis Hunter, man. People are so scared of Travis Hunter.
It's great. 2nd overall pick. Can't draft him.
No, and it's also funny too. Like, even if you took away the whole defensive stuff, he goes what? Probably top 10, top 12 in the draft as just a wide receiver prospect, well ahead of where BTJ was.
They won the award for best wide receiver in college last year.
But we're scared. We're scared. And you want to get some nice prices on Hunter in the Eliminator. Like, I think I got a few shares of him in the early 80s last week.
Dude, he goes so cheap in the Eliminator.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I was gonna make you say the name of the award, John, because I didn't know if you would butcher it or not.
Like Bettenkoff or Bletnikoff or something like that. I don't know what it's actually called.
You say blood and coffee?
I have no idea. What is it actually called? That's why I just called it wide receiver.
Sounded like something a doctor asked during like a male physical. He's like, I'm going to need you to blet and then cough here.
Sounds so bad. Okay, can you say it again for me slowly?
Bolitnikov.
Bolitnikov. Okay.
That was great.
We're
going to be talking about some of the college awards for the members today. Botenkopfs.
There was another one in the chat earlier. Svee caught me on a Jim Harborough, like with like 4 O's and R's in there.
Oh,
you did say Harborough.
Yeah. Hey, I'm about to do basketball and baseball and puck after this, guys.
No one would ever doubt your prowess.
We lose out. I mean, should we just rip it in on Diami here?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
That's a bull case for passing on Tank.
Yeah. The third quarterback stuff we do.
You guys are gonna hate this suggestion.
All right.
I hate it.
John Kick.
I think I'm gonna like it.
You are?
I think I am.
What is it?
Anthony Richardson. Slam it in there.
Richardson over Jones?
Yes, sir.
We do have a luxury pick.
Are you trying to win the contest or are you trying to come fourth?
Let me see here. If my two options are get fourth for $10,314, a very specific number, or fail spectacularly at getting first, yeah, I'll lock up that 10K, John. Give it to me.
That's awesome.
What is it like? What is the because we had that move for where Daniel Jones flipped Richardson for a bit, but now Richardson has barely edged him out. Is that just you, John, pounding the table for Richardson in every draft, made that move happen?
Yeah, I'm just packing my bags right now. Almost every draft I leave with him as my third quarterback in the last 2 rounds.
Bolitnikov,
regional wrestler.
Yeah, I'm mixing in a ton of Richardson and Dart, and I've been exchanging some Dart for Richardson lately, and for my third QB late. Just I think with the 4 out of 12, you can afford to like take those zeros while you wait for Daniel Jones to lose his job. Yeah, I'm with John there.
So here's the team. Sorry. I was just going to do a quick recap here. Caleb, Trevor Lawrence, Richardson at quarterback, 3 tight ends as well. Hawkinson, Loveland, and Strange. Got our 4 running backs, Achane, Kyron, Omarion, Hampton, and Sampson. And then Neighbors, Rome, Olave, Downs, Bateman, Diami. I would say like normally BBM style, I'd be like, let's do 2 more wide receivers, but I would certainly be open to a 5th running back in this format. And just, I think the running backs might even be just the better picks.
I would agree with you. I think in BBM, I think Nez would fight for a 5th running back in BBM more than this contest because like of the, what do you win when you win principle. Am I right?
I like shooting for, contingency upside when we have like the availability where we're not looking for points in our lineup in the regular season. We're just looking for ceiling. I prefer to roll the dice on a contingency running back, but I do have guys in mind here. Positionally, we were thinking what again for these last 2 picks?
I think traditionally it would definitely be wide receiver at 6 and then not investing any early. Well, I guess we have Neighbors, so that certainly helps. I think it's either wide receiver, or running back, wide receiver.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely have some wide receivers in mind.
Okay, cool. I have a running back in mind if he makes it back. Otherwise, I do seem to like the receiving options. The he goes though. Giddens, I thought with Richardson would have been nice.
That would have been fun.
Yeah,
but we also have Hopkins falls. 80
I think
Mitchell.
Hopkins is a good pick here, man.
Yeah, me too.
I like 80 Mitchell, but I didn't expect to see Hopkins here.
Yeah,
and we have Bateman too, so it's nice to get a little correlation there.
Little bet on Baltimore. Man, Lloyd still here is pretty
I know.
good.
That's you get the bring back on
on this Baltimore stuff.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Because I did
would
have my
basically be
eyes on
that
AD
or-
Mitchell too.
Yeah, I think Lloyd or AD Mitchell. John, do you have a preference?
I think I'd take Lloyd on this roster. I think we wanted to get 5, and Hampton as a third is like ceiling shoddy opposed to like taking Mixon as a third. So
True.
I like another ceiling outcome one.
Yeah, and I think, with Bateman, Diami, like this crew, you get Neighbors as like your elite anchor wide receiver. And then, Rome has a pretty wide range of outcomes, but like Olave, Downs, Bateman, Diami, Hopkins, like it's a pretty solid room. Like, we don't have a bunch of rookies in here where it is like more speculative. So I kind of like that lean to the fifth running back, especially with the 2 rookie running backs in that room.
Yeah, I think Giddens would have been like the big pound the table smash there for us, but that's a good consolation prize to get opposite the Baltimore stuff with Lloyd.
Yep. All right. Final recap here. 3-5-7-3. Caleb Williams with Rome. Trevor Lawrence with Diami Brown. Brenton Strange there, completing that back stack. Anthony Richardson with Josh Downs. Our running backs, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams, Omarion Hampton, Dylan Sampson, and Marshawn Lloyd. Our other wide receivers, Neighbors, Olave, and the 2 Ravens, Bateman and Hopkins. And we also have Hawkinson and, I forgot Loveland stacked up with Caleb as well. So the double stack there. Pretty nice squad for this contest. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. That was a fun build. It was we put ourselves in that corner by taking Hampton and going 3 RB early. And I think we didn't really need anything to bail us out here to make it work. It's not like, thank God we got that faller that makes it all work. I think we made it work on our own accord.
Yeah.
Big fan. I like go ahead, Pete. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it was fun because I've done a few hyper fragile builds where I start with the 3 running backs, but this was like the first I think I've done where I've gotten the elite wide receiver and then ripped off 3 in a row. Just because there's not a lot of options in round 4 where it's generally works out, 2, 3, and then like 4 if you're not in the right spot. So this was kind of a fun one to do to still get that upside.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to say, I like whenever you put yourself in that corner because, like, as long as you do the draft capital allocation correctly, you really you can always just like feel good about the way that you played.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well said.
Beautiful. Yeah. Need Pete's favorite MLB stack for Thursday. Trick question. It's all start break, motherfucker.
Way to go, Pete.
Yep.
Way to go, Pete.
Yep.
Way to go.
You tried to trick me. I'm too smart for that. And I'm too smart for that. In that I asked if they were having a baseball show earlier, and they said not. Have we had the home run derby yet?
Yeah, last night, Cal Raleigh took it down with his dad pitching to him and his brother catching. It's pretty cool.
Collusion.
Yeah, definitely collusion.
Yeah, I mean, well, just because your dad and brother are available, like, did everybody else have the opportunity to have their dad and brother as part of their team?
A couple of them did throw as well.
Jeez, just like a complete. What about like the hardworking catchers and pitchers? Where is this event taking place?
Atlanta.
Just a lot of hardworking people there, catchers, pitchers, and then these Nepo babies come in and steal jobs from the local workers. This is the kind of operation you guys devote so much of your time following.
It's a shame, man. He took it, that kid. He took it from a kid who could have used $1 million, and Cal Raleigh took his money, took that prize from him. It's a shame.
Hang on, got another tough question. What about Friday? Trick question. No, again, would they be back? The All-Star game is what? Is it probably tonight?
It's tonight.
Trick question. They're going to take a 2-day break even after the All-Star game. No games Friday.
You're right. They are taking a 2-day break, but it's Wednesday and Thursday.
Shit. All right. I needed a 3-day break. I'll get back to you.
Stop tricking Peter, guys. God.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Right. Before we roll, I gotta ask this because I've been staring at it for the last like 2 minutes now. The Blitnikoff Award. Did I say it right?
You did.
Blitnikoff.
Good work.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some studs on here. Like there are some certified ballers in like Chase and Devonta Smith and Jordan Addison, Marvin Harrison Jr., this sort of thing. There's only 2 players who won it twice. I think ever. Yes, they won it twice in back-to-back years. They have both been since 2007, 2008, and then the other one was 2010 and 2011. Can you name those 2 players? One is household NFL name. Other one had a very infamous career for the wrong reasons.
I don't know college like that.
One was Texas Tech, played for the Niners and Baltimore.
Crabtree? Yeah.
Yeah, Crabtree. Okay. And then the other one, Oklahoma State, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Des Bryant? Or no, Ruggs?
No, I know his name. Fuck. It's shit, John. Just say his name. I know him.
Oh, Justin Blackmon?
Justin Blackmon.
Yeah.
Well done. You know what's nuts on this list right here? Like it goes Calvin Johnson, Crabtree, Golden Tate, Justin Blackmon for 2 years. Then there's all these Jags wide receivers. So Blackmon, Marquise Lee, who turned out to be a Jags wide receiver, D.D. Westbrook, Jags wide receiver, James Washington, I think he finished with the Jags as well. And then Travis Hunter. So there's like a bunch of like guys who ended up on the Jags that won this award. It's crazy.
That is
it's
crazy.
Weird.
All right, guys. Any other plugs here? You mentioned firing up a stream for some puck here in a second.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff up right now. I basically put all the shows up because I'm going away this weekend. I put everything up so the people know what's coming. It's going to be a lot of football the next 2 days with the camp stuff and no baseball going on. So today is going to be multi-sport draft leads for the members. Right after this, you'll get redirected. After that, tomorrow and Thursday are going to be 2-hour football shows. And then Friday, back for baseball with Nez, No Strip Nez, in the morning to break down the first baseball slate. And then Monday will be baseball slate as well. And then Solver Series video will be dropping on the weekend as well on Saturday there. So tons of football the next 3 days and then a little bit of multi-sport stuff right after this.
Beautiful. I got a fun week on tap. Best Ball Bash, of course, tomorrow. And then randomizer. It's our first ever head-to-head randomizer. We got Emo Cowboy and John Daigle. It's going to be ridiculous. They're going to be wrestling characters. We got a bunch of fun prompts. So very excited for that. And then Thursday, the big dog, Evan Silva, is coming on Ship Chasing. Just locked that up. So can't wait to get the takes flying over there. We'll have Lulz, of course. And then friend of the Badge Bros of the Underdog, I'm doing After Dark on Thursday this week. Dave is going to be coming on. People probably recognize his username, a Dog Bowl legend, works over at ETR, super sharp drafter on the site. And we are going to, I was just inviting him on, talk shop or whatever. He's like, you want to do a big dog? I was like, sure. So we're going to draft a big dog together. So if you're looking to get in a room and get one filled, I mean, we'll probably talk for a little bit at the top, but yeah, probably around 8:30 or so on Thursday night, if you're looking to hop in a streamed big dog.
Unreal.
Sweet. Appreciate all of you guys. And I hope most of you have been able to check it out. But if not, that Deposit Kingdom video on the Eliminator that we were kind of referencing, that's up on the Deposit Kingdom channel. Shout out to Christopher Davis. And have really enjoyed thinking about that contest. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time on Off and On the Clock. Peace.